Welcome to the manager surveys lesson. If I could have a human moment with you for a second, I went outside like 4 times to figure out what the scratching sound was that was startling me every time I heard it. It's the Christmas wreath sitting on my own window. So, it's been one of those days. Let's talk manager surveys. This is the 4th survey type in this course. And this one I'm going to tell you is technically optional. You don't have to do this, and you're not going to find much online about sending one of these because it's based on my conversations with Christy Williams, who is one of the other members of this community. I'll tell you more about it. We're going to dive into it, but you technically need 3. ENPS, engagement, and pulse surveys. That will get you so far when you know what you're doing. But if you really want to move the needle and get to the root of why everyone's actually upset, it's what's going on the teams, like in a more direct way. So technically, I'm going to tell you this is optional, but I'm going to beg you to add this as your 4th survey format. And in the following lessons, like the next lesson after this is cadence. So I know you're like, show me like a plan for how I'm going to send all these. It's coming in the next lesson. But for right now, I just want to get clear on what the manager survey is and what your goal is here. Your managers are going to make or break engagement levels at your company. It doesn't matter how much you do and how much you care and how much you try to get to the bottom of things. It's the managers that are causing 70% of disengagement, not you. That's why I tell you all to keep your calm when you get nasty, spicy survey results on your engagement survey or on a pulse survey. Employees are not mad at you. We're so glad you asked. And we're like, how much time do you have? Because this person's making me nuts. This person doesn't get me. But it's the reason I say you shouldn't mark this as optional and you should use this format is because managers spend the most of the time with your employees. If you think about it, like, duh. The majority of your employee experience is breaking down because of the way teams are functioning. But this is not going to be a session on, making managers sound like the bad guys here. I've been the manager before several times, and they don't get any training. Very early in my career, when I became a manager, I had no idea what I was doing, and I was completely traumatizing my team, and I had to go outside to the outside world and read a bunch of books and go to a bunch of therapy to figure out how to better show up for my people. And I had some amazing moments later in my career as a manager of different teams where they loved me and I loved them, and we still talk to this day. So it is possible, but we have to stop this like managers going to train themselves using their own time and resources and hitting their own rock bottom. We have to get in front of it. Most managers are usually doing too much, and because of this, everything's falling apart. So even if you have a frontline workforce, but maybe you work in tech, like just think about it from the manager perspective. Someone is usually promoted, okay, who was really good at the job and they're not really trained or prepared or told like, hey, this is a completely different skill set. But also they're not really given permission to like stop doing individual contributor work. Like when they were a regular direct report, they still want to get involved in the day-to-day and do the thing. But also they need to have spreadsheets and do timesheets and, lead the team and make sure everyone's got what they need. And with so many different personalities, managers are like hopping around playing whack-a-mole with whatever employee concern comes up or who called in sick or who's not getting along with someone or the machine over there broke or the software tool is down or we need more software, we need more resources, we need more budget. I need a mental health day. My mom died. Managers need permission and time and space to do their job. And 60% of their time should be spent like fostering relationships on the team. Okay. I have a video that I want you to watch from my time at Pingboard. I'll link it into the show notes. We talk about the difference between a rock star and a superstar. And what I'm getting at here is oftentimes when someone is promoted, they're what's usually called the rock star. Like they're so good at what they do. They're like a level 4 developer or engineer, whatever. And because they're so great at their job, when a manager leaves, it's like, well, let's just promote this person. But oftentimes it's not communicated that to the person, hey, your job is going to completely change. You're not going to do the job you loved so much. You're going to be mentoring and coaching the people underneath you to become great at the job. And also dealing with a bunch of other emotionally charged soft skill things like, like I said it before, like getting to know the unique isms of each team member, figuring out the strengths and the weaknesses of everyone so you can help them grow, help them work together, help resolve conflict, and, come up with plans that everyone is excited about. The rock star often doesn't want to do that. They'll get promoted because they want more money, but they quickly fail and they hide in going back to individual contributor work, and they're not as available to the team. The team is looking to them for guidance and leadership, and they don't know how to offer it, and everyone loses. The manager feels like a dope, and they feel like a loser, and they lose their confidence, and the team is struggling with a leader who's not engaging with them. A superstar, on the other hand, is someone who is very results driven and is constantly pushing people and processes and ideas to like optimize and build, and is thinking about the future of the organization. Those are the types of people that are looking to be promoted. They're good enough at the day-to-day, but really their passion is people and strategy and leading teams. And so it's always good to keep that clear in your head. If a CEO or someone is like, oh, we need to move quick, just promote so-and-so. And then so-and-so is like, yay, I get a promotion. If it's not clear what's actually happening here and how the job responsibilities are going to change, this is a mistake. But if you want to dive deeper, click the video in the description where I go into a lot more detail and make sure that you avoid this common mistake. Managers need to learn like the basics of respect, if you can imagine this, and they need guardrails in order to be successful. Sorry, I was trying to read the header to you, but make it I digress. What I mean by this is managers need to sometimes even just learn how to be nice and not scary. We will default to what our parents were like. For me, when stuff didn't go my way, I was very harsh because I grew up in a very strict family. And that worked for that family. I think back anyway, that's another story. But I would default to intimidation because that's what my dad did. And there's nothing wrong with my dad. It was the 90s. Without training on how managers need to respect their employees. They need to not bow down to their employees, but they need to be taught how to have communication with them and one-on-ones and interactions with them that give employees a reason to respect them. Employees do not respect someone who comes in like a bulldozer. But like I said, I was that manager, and it took me a while to figure out that doesn't work. And they need guardrails because, they need regular training. We're going to talk about this in a second, but managers need help practicing what are the limits to when certain things happen and how do I behave? Okay. So this basically has to do with monthly workshopping. We'll get to it in the next couple slides, but I want to recommend some books that I will also link out in the description that you can read by yourself and or with your managers. So the first one is Radical Candor by Kim Scott. This book is all about teaching managers how to give super honest feedback without damaging relationships. This book changed my life. I even use it in my personal life at this point. I would recommend reading this with your managers. And I even had a manager do this, and I did this as a manager, where I taught my teams this. And people would have permission to say, hey, Radical Candor, I think this is a dumb idea. It's a book all about getting to the, helping you find the balance between being direct and also showing that you care. People can build trust within the team. This helped my teams communicate a lot faster and get to the best right answers. And again, I use it in my personal life to deal with neighbors and family. Drive by Daniel Pink. This one breaks down what really motivates people, and it's a really good read for you and your managers. So things like giving people autonomy, mastery, and purpose are common themes in that book. And it helps give practical ways to create an environment where teams feel super, super inspired to do their best work. And it's just going purely off the psychology of human behavior, what drives human behavior. Third, I just always have this book with me, and this book is for you. It's called It's the Manager by Gallup. You know, I love Gallup. This book is based on a ton of research showing that managers are obviously the biggest driver of engagement. This one will prove to you till the cows come home everything I tell you in this course, because they've researched it for 4 decades. But it's super packed with insights and strategies to help you have bigger impact on how you're managing your managers and turning them into an extension of you in the mission to drive engagement. You can't drive engagement by yourself. And this one really helps you get clear on what the problem is and different approaches you can take that will work for you and your organization to get the company closer to the success, whatever business KPIs, you know, are being given to you by the executive team. This book, I just open it and flip open to certain pages sometimes. If I'm like sitting waiting at the doctor, I'm like, oh yeah, like this is a really good approach to making sure managers know that when they get bad survey results, it's not something to be ashamed of. Like, this is a good thing. This is where I get a lot of the language that I teach with. And then lastly, this last book, The Making of a Manager by Julie, I think it's Zhu. This is a good one to give your managers and have them read and maybe have a monthly book club. But this one is very relatable for managers at any level, whether they're brand new or super experienced. It walks your managers through common challenges and gives everyone who's reading it super practical tips for leading a team more effectively and building their confidence as a manager. So I have a whole book list in the resources section of this community, but these 4 books, I believe in my heart of hearts, are like the secret key to really getting clear on what's not working and what you're going to do about it. You don't have to go read all 4. Pick one of those descriptions that sounded like it resonated with you, but I totally suggest like go pick one of those books and I promise you're going to get sucked in. Personally, I fall asleep when I read because I have 2 kids and I go to the gym, and if I sit down and sit still for 2 seconds, my brain is like, we're going to bed. So I use Audible and I listen to books. You're still absorbing the information. So if someone's like, you didn't read that book, you listened to it. Okay, I still processed the information and learned what? I've had people say that before. You don't read books, you listen to books. I'm like, what's your point? I've still read more books than you. I'll do it while folding laundry, while driving in the car, while taking a shower. You may not want to commit to that level, but you totally have time here and there to take in little bits of information. And Audible has just changed my life for the sake of leveling up while I'm raising tomorrow's youth, including myself. Okay. So in the description of this lesson, I also have the guide for you, which is the actual questions you should ask in a survey. And you're going to use a Likert scale again when you send this out, but you're going to send 2 surveys. This survey is sent once a year, but there's 2 versions. One is sent to employees. One is sent for managers. The managers are rating themselves. The employees are rating their managers. So you can see here, like question number 1 for the managers is, I'm confident in my ability to clearly communicate expectations with my team. And then the employees are going to get, my manager clearly communicates expectations to me and the team. So you will make this anonymous, but you will start to see where managers think they stand and where employees actually are experiencing them. And this will help you get clear on where everyone's at and what your training opportunities are. In this guide, I also have how to position this to employees and managers so that people don't get freaked out. We're going to explain to managers, again, it's in the guide, it's a literal script for you to say or put in an email. It's all about putting the ownership on the company. Like, we're so wanting to invest in all of you, in your career, in your development, and we believe in you. So this is nothing to fear. This is a chance for us to figure out how we can better serve you and equip you, okay? Because you don't want to just send this out and be like, have fun, everyone. This is the most toxic relationship often at work, is the manager-employee dynamic. And same with employees. You're going to tell them, this isn't going to create some kind of a witch hunt. This is helping us make sure that we are standing by our managers and setting them up for success so that all of you are set up for success. So there is a way to position all of this so that you don't cause panic for the managers and your employees to drool at the opportunity to just bomb their own manager with like super awful feedback. There's a calculated way to get everyone to take this seriously and to take it with like, a pinch of respect that this is serious stuff, but it's like so helpful for the organization and that there's nothing wrong with anyone. I also have a script in there in case your executive is like, you're sending another survey? So you're done at an EMPS survey, a pulse survey, an engagement survey. Now you're sending a manager survey. They don't want everyone to get distracted and upset. So I have included a little paragraph or 2 or 3 for you to be like, yeah, and here's my goal with this, and here's how this drives the business forward. So you are equipped to verbally spar at your will, and I encourage you to hold your ground, because this survey is actually like getting the closest to the beating heart of the monster that lives in your organization, to figure out what is causing everyone to be so upset. It's the manager, but the managers don't know what they're doing. So we can't be like, everyone's just doing their best. Side note, corporate anything, whether you have frontline employees or what, like we don't go to school to learn a lot of this. And most of this is the school of hard human nature knocks. Okay. And we figure it out as we go, and we get traumatized by bad experiences of toxic people and layoffs and getting screamed at by an executive. So people don't mean to be awful at work, but we can definitely figure out what they're doing to be awful at work so that we can help them fix it. Okay. So I talked about workshopping a few slides ago. When you get these results, you can use this to inform a monthly workshop training that should be happening. And if you're like, Christy, I don't have time for this. Yeah, I know. That's why I gave you a script for asking for more resources and asking for more budget. Your managers need monthly workshopping, whether it's you or someone you hire in to do it. But I definitely know you can do this if you have the time and space with a properly staffed HR or people ops team. So monthly workshops can help them, your managers, role play common workplace scenarios in like a super safe setting so that they don't, it's actually kind of fun and funny. I've lived this, by the way. That's why I'm suggesting it. I've worked at an organization that did this, and it was such an awesome program, and we all loved it as managers. So you can role play something that's inevitably going to happen in the workplace so that everyone's kind of equipped and has some kind of a nugget of what to do if and when this happens. And there is a countless amount of examples, like monthly manager workshops could go on to infinity and beyond, whether it's dealing with the brilliant jerk on the team or someone being inappropriate on a video call or someone's quality of work is slipping, like how to hold those difficult conversations. It helps your more experienced managers who may think like, I don't need this training. You say, we would love for you to be in the conversation to help with sharing your stories of how this has gone well or what you've learned from in the past. Our younger managers or less experienced managers would really benefit from learning from you too and what you have to say. So this is for everyone. No one is exempt. And it will help your managers form bonds with one another. Like when we did the roundtable stuff, I know some people are just fun suckers and they're like, this is dumb. Those people are insecure. We can still get through to them. But we were like laughing, like we were role playing, being the employee that needed the tough conversation and then being the manager. And, you're trying to find your words, but it's fun. It's like team building at the same time. And your managers will feel more engaged because they're going to appreciate this time together as managers to basically talk about how hard this can be. And lastly, it helps your managers feel more engaged by getting this investment by the company. You're basically helping them become a better manager for another company one day. Sure, nobody stays forever, but deep down, they're going to be grateful. Like, this company really believes in me. Like, I'm really headed somewhere. But while I'm here, I'm going to give it my all because I don't want to lose this opportunity to get free training. Okay? So if anyone rolls their eyes, be like, trust me, it's fun. We're going to make it fun. You need this, and we're investing in you. Oh, and there was the last one. Yep. I think I said it already. You want to equip everyone to show up properly when the inevitable unfolds. I do have a quick story where I was in a monthly manager workshop where we were talking about someone dressing inappropriately, even if it was over Zoom. And I was thinking like, this is never going to happen to me, but I enjoyed the training, whatever, we got through it. And then it literally happened the next week. And I was almost so perfectly poised to have the conversation so like right after it happened. And it went very well. The person was very receptive. There was no harm done. And I was like, oh, well, this works. Okay. You can do this in-house. You do not have to hire an expensive consultant because you know your people and your managers would love to bond with and get to know you too. So here's my quick recipe for a rinse, repeat 60-minute workshop that would be like 15-minute increments. So for an hour a month, you get all your managers together, if it's remote or if it's in person, and this is how you would spend the time. The first 15 minutes, you are going to walk them through a difficult scenario and how not to handle it and how to handle it. You can base this off past survey results, whether, with employees telling you certain things have happened, or where managers seem to miss the mark. You can ask ChatGPT for like, what's a quick, difficult scenario I could coach my managers through. I'd like to build out a channel in this community where we just have manager workshops for you to pull from. That's coming. But basically you are going to be like, hey, has this ever happened to you? Da-da-da-da-da. The employee says or does this, like, well, don't say this, but you would say this, and here's why. And then you break into groups for 15 minutes and everyone role plays what to say. And this is the part where everyone kind of bonds without even realizing it. And then you have 15 more minutes of storytelling where employees will not share names if it's at the current organization, but people would love the chance to say, oh, at another company, something happened and this is how it went and it was so bad and this is what I learned. And your older, sorry, I'm so ageist. Your more experienced managers will be able to say, we've come a long way. This is how this used to be handled when I was first starting as a manager. And this is what we learned today is a much better way to handle it. And then the last 15 minutes are, a chance for managers to just talk about anything that's bothering them or something that's hard for them. Maybe you guys are going through a big rapid growth phase, or maybe the company's shrinking, or a layoff just happened, or there's no marketing leader and it's really hurting the sales and the marketing and the customer success teams. It's like affecting the volume of customers coming through and leads, whatever it is. This gives everyone a chance to add some color to you to hear what's going on for managers, so that you can attend executive meetings and have more color to add to the conversation when they're like, we need to grow. And you're like, hold on. Our managers are needing to scale some of these teams. I know this because they've told me. And that's how you have that information that is needed to pause, halt, or like shift in strategy based on the actual revenue drivers, which are your other employees. So your biggest takeaway for this lesson is that managers drive the majority of disengagement, not you. You're not going to take negative engagement survey or whatever survey results, any survey you send out, you're not going to take it seriously you're not going to take it personally because it's driven by the manager. So my question for you is, have you ever considered holding a monthly manager workshop? Have you actually done that in the past? But if you're considering doing it, are you properly staffed for that? And if you're not, what are you going to do about it? And I highly suggest you go check out the Ask for More Budget resource and watch that lesson again, because this is something that must be happening at your organization because everyone benefits from it. The employees get a more well-trained, self-aware manager that doesn't traumatize them. They're more productive, engaged, and the company makes more money. Your customers have better interactions with all the employees. The employees enjoy working with each other more. It's a total trickle-down effect where everybody wins. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this. I will see you in the next lesson where we are going to talk about survey sending cadence. Okay, bye.